welcome to another episode of Low Tech Health. Let ourselves translate expert knowledge. I'm your host, Brad Burns, and today is another episode of Forgive My Foul Mouth Friday, and we're going to get a little freaky frisky on this Freaky Friday and beg forgiveness on this backwards-ass week, because I don't see any real theme in our administration in this world other than a bunch of kids on a playground. Politically, that's all I'm gonna say. It's enough. It's like beating a dead horse with a bunch of floppy baseball bats. Nobody gets hurt. Nothing really happens. It's just a bunch of movement and wax. I hate it. It's annoying. So today, health-wise, we are going to discuss the sugar addiction. The deep, deep drug addiction that is sugar. What happens when you ingest sugar? Your mouth activates the same pleasure centers that your nose does with cocaine ingested. You have a blocking of dopamine reuptake, so your body is flooded with dopamine, the neurotransmitter that makes you feel like you accomplished something. And all you did was put Jolly Rancher, Milk Dud, fucking Snickers in your mouth. I shouldn't be giving these guys advertisement. They don't need it because people will buy bags of this. They don't need that. You don't see this in countries that have other shit going on, problems. And we act like we have no control over one of the biggest propagators of death. It's sugar. I know there are issues with our political systems, but we can't even stop people from doing this. And it's killing them. So, why is this such a problem for your brain when you activate the pleasure center and make yourself feel like you did a good job eating some sugar, like you're snorting cocaine? Well, just like cocaine, you have to redose. Not every 15 minutes, like with cocaine, but you have to do it roughly every 1 to 3 hours if you're eating enough to satiate yourself on a full voluminous level. If you are just eating little by little, you don't have to wait an hour to redose. You could eat forever until you fall asleep. Some people could just eat as they smoke. Like, people have smoked cigarettes one after the other, and we remark, it's so horrible, you're killing yourself and giving yourself cancer. Well, as cancer is a metabolic disease, more than likely, needing to be treated such a way due to the fermentation of your actual cells from a lack of respiration and a mitochondrial dysfunction. The very powerhouse of the cell breaks down with it's tumorigenicity. Yeah. Easier to read than to think it out loud. Is caused by the cells fermenting, which what happens, you're not getting enough oxygen because the choking out, much like cocaine, is not happening in your nose like if you were snorting to the point where you're deviating your septum. But with candy, you're making this little organ right here, the pancreas, just dump loads of insulin to try to absorb this really powerful sugar that's kept us as a human alive, because we are so good at utilizing this sugar and putting it into glycogen and using it for later, which glycogen becomes lipids, becomes big fucking fat people. How do we stop that? Diet. No matter the amount of exercise, you have to stop eating hand over hand sugar, because the carbs will only last 1 to 3 hours, empty calories. There's nothing in those little lovely, cool looking packages. We have to reprogram our brain because it also doesn't know the difference between the package and the food. Just like our brain doesn't get that this is a poison because it's making us feel great. Like, what do you mean? This thing that looks like a lightning bolt and is jumping all over, visually stimulating my brain, is bad for me? How could it be bad for me? It's a lightning bolt. Well, you ever been hit by a lightning bolt? I don't want to wait around for it. Do what you can, people. Stop eating the fucking sugar. I love you. Forgive my foul mouth Friday. I'll see you next week. This backwards ass week has been, it's been pretty rocking. Look forward to seeing what next week's theme will be. See you.